The pond of frogs. In a vibrant green plain, frogs frolicked by a lively pond, croaking and splashing merrily. But their joyful days took a turn when a bossy newcomer disrupted their peaceful pond life. Pond of Frogs story. In a green plain, there was a big pond where frogs lived. The frogs croaked in the pond from morning to night and jumped in the water. They were very happy. But one day, when the frogs were playing under the warm sun, they heard a loud noise. They all became silent and turned towards the sound. An unknown frog was standing on a piece of rock and shouting, "Quiet! Everyone be quiet!" All the frogs became silent and looked at the belly frog. No one knew him. It was as if he had just arrived. The newly arrived frog shouted, "I have come to this pond to live. Because my power is more than all of you, you must obey everything I say. Otherwise, I will throw you out of this pond." The rest of the frogs did not take him seriously. They thought this new frog was like the rest and did frog-like things. But the new frog began to order everything. But the new frog began to order everyone. Frogs do not have the right to play everywhere in the pond and make noise. No frog has the right to swim in the pond in the afternoon. At first, because they did not know him, the frogs feared him and listened to him. But the new frog became more aggressive every day. All the frogs in the pond were tired of him. That's why they decided to go to Baba Frog, who was very old and wise, to consult him about their problem. After hearing their words, the frog said, "Every frog should know that not all days of the year are the same, and we should always be able to count on each other." The frogs, who had calmed down a bit, returned to the pond and decided not to listen to the words of the belly frog anymore. But he continued to belly and interfere in the work of others. It passed, and the summer season arrived. The green plain was dry, and the big pond was shallow in water, so little water that it turned into several tiny ponds. Each group of frogs who were friends lived and played in one of these ponds and were happy. But the belly frog had no place in the small ponds, and no one would accept him. One day, when Daddy Frog noted the situation with the belly frog, he gathered all the frogs together and said, "See, my dear frogs, the skin of us frogs is such that it must be in the water. And if it dries, we cannot breathe. But I think that we are fortunate to have our little ponds. But we all know that there is a frog that does not have a pond to swim in. Someone is willing to let him in to his pond." The frogs looked at each other sadly. They didn't want any frog to be bothered. But the belly frog couldn't be tolerated either. After a few minutes, the frog heard a voice behind them. It was the voice of the belly frog that everyone knew now. He said with regret, "I know I was wrong. Please forgive me and let me into your pond." Daddy Frog is right. All days of the year are not the same. We must be able to count on each other. The frogs chattered among themselves a little. They realized that the belly frog really regretted his work. That's why they let him into their own pond, so that he can live peacefully and pass this hot season.